Hey everyone, I'm Mike Henry, and this is my Procreate 4.2 demo for the piece I call Scribbled. Now I call it 4.2, I actually started it in an older version and then picked it up and finished it during 4.2, so since I had access to those tools, we're going to go with calling it 4.2. This is the piece where I was just drawing this girl in a profile, and I was giving her big hair actually because I was watching Seinfeld and I was thinking about Elaine's hair. That's like the whole impetus for this sketch. And then I kind of left it alone. You'll see in a second, after I do this blue line pass, all of a sudden all these scribbles jump in, and that's because one of my kids, and I actually don't remember which one, I'm assuming my younger kid, he was like 2 probably at the time, came in and did a bunch of scribbles, and then I said, screw it, I'll just keep going. So I left him in there and thought maybe something fun will come out of this. Then after picking it up months later, almost like a year later I think it was, I decided to start like working with the scribbles and working with everything else. So you can see what I did here was I just sort of left the scribbles on the layer that they were drawn on. And then I added like a little bit of a shadowing around them and a little bit of a white around the black lines. That was just done by filling the whole canvas and then clearing the area where the scribbles were and then blurring that, and then a little bit so it like encroached on the shape, and then clearing everything outside of it. That's how that was done. And then the hair was done with one of the brushes. I can't remember which one, but you can see that I didn't really do much with it. It's just whatever the brush was out of the box. And then I color picked the shadows and the highlights and the white, and then at the end I just took that white and duplicated it, blurred it, and set it to like an add layer so that it would get some of that richness and the bloom. Then we get to the face. So now we sort of caught up to where the video is. The face itself I just painted as if I was painting it. I was a little haphazard with it though because I knew that the whole piece was going to be pretty chaotic. And then I take the blue lines and I set those to I actually don't remember what I set those to. I could go into the file and see, but I think the spirit of what this piece was supposed to be was just trying a bunch of random stuff. I didn't really go into it with much of a game plan. Since the scribbles were brought in, it sort of reset my brain, and instead of saying like this is what I'm going to do with it, it was more like let's see what I'm going to do with it. So you can see that I painted the face more or less as though I would paint it. And although a little bit messy, I colored the eye kind of like how I would, but the actual iris is completely see-through. Whatever the background is what that iris is going to be. I was just playing around with it. The dress is mostly flat with that texture placed on it, and then I put the rim light like on her jawline and stuff. And then by putting this cast shadow across it, I think it puts it more in an environment and gives it some 3D qualities, since there's a bunch of weird stuff going on with it in general. There's also the all those little adjustments that you saw. That was like color balance and creating new layers and just putting texture into things. And then this little sprig of hair was like added at the end because I realized I just wanted more interacting with those scribbles. So that was just painted as a layer on top. Same thing with that little hair that's falling down there. You can see the blue lines though, how they do really weird things, like when they pass over the black you see them, but not when they pass over the skin. And that's because of whatever the layer setting was that I used, which again, I don't remember. And then we've got that light source in the top right, and that sort of brings everything together. It's a pretty wild piece, not wild in the sense that it's the craziest thing you've ever seen, but it was wild, and when I did it, I just sort of did stuff that I was like, how about this, how about this, how about that, and then it created this chaotic scene. And so due to the nature of how fast it was created, it's a fairly short time lapse. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, even though this was a super weird one. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy it, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one. And if you're looking for me on the internet, these are the places where you can find me.